This is Nicole with Elite Equine Exchange. I want to talk to you today a little bit about trials and horses being sold and people asking about, can I have the horse for a trial before I buy the horse? I want to cover this topic because actually this is a question that has come up recently with a few of my friends and people that I know have brought this up recently, and it's an interesting question, so I thought I'd discuss it here today. What do you do if you're a seller and someone asks whether they can have the horse for a trial for a period of time? And what does that mean exactly, and what options do you have? So usually a person may ask for a trial on a horse if they are not quite sure whether the horse may be a good match for them. That this usually may come up if maybe the horse had an injury in the past and there may be some concerns of the horse re-injuring themselves, or maybe they're not quite sure whether they've fully healed from the injury, or maybe the horse has some quirky behaviors, or maybe the person is not quite sure whether the horse is a perfect fit for them, just riding wise. And of course, at the end of the day, we always want to find the perfect match for the horse and the rider. So it's not always, a bad thing for the person to ask to see if they can make sure that the horse is a great fit, and just having one ride of them might not be the best way to assess that. However, obviously as a seller, you may be very concerned, especially if they're asking to take the horse off-site somewhere, and you obviously you have a lack of control of where the horse is going to be and what happens to the horse and the length of time and everything. And so people have asked me, well, can I create a purchase contract where there's a trial term written into the sales contract, where there's basically maybe like a trial and then a right to purchase after the trial term is over. Again, you should always consult with an attorney for legal matters. Just want to be clear that I'm not providing legal advice here, but for legal reasons I won't get into, you can't really promise in a document to purchase something in the future. So for something that you're signing for a trial, you can't sign something and say that I might want to purchase something for a purchase price in the future. So you can't really sign something like that. So unless, for example, you would have to write something up where maybe if they put down a totally non-refundable deposit, like half the purchase price or something, maybe you can do something like that and work with an attorney. But then again, I don't know if the buyer at that point would want to sign something like that. What I would say that in the case of a trial, especially if the horse is going off-site, you would want to have a legal document that has terms of exactly how you want the horse to be cared for, the payment of, the term of the trial, the insurance that would need to be carried, the length of the term. And so when you think about all those characteristics, what does it sound like? It sounds exactly like a lease. So what I would recommend if someone's asking for a trial, basically just write it up and recommend that they enter into like a short-term lease, and maybe just recommend that they do like a 1 month short-term lease, or 1 month or maybe 2 month lease. And at that time, at the end of the lease term, if they feel like it's a good match, then you can go ahead and just do a regular sales contract and have them go through the regular sales contract at that time. You can write up just a regular lease contract, go through all the regular terms you would go through a lease. The great thing about that is a lot of insurance companies, different organizations that you would go through, USEF and others, they all recognize lease agreements. It's very common in the horse industry, so it's pretty easy to set those up, whereas like a trial, that's pretty unusual, and that would be a lot harder to set up and enforce. That being said, there is no obligation for the buyer to then buy the horse at the end of the term. So that is something to keep in mind. So at the end of the lease term, after a month, if they decide, it's just not a good match for me, that's it, So, but I guess that's the whole point of the trial, is if it's not a good match, it's not a good match. And of course, like with any lease, there's always some risk that the horse could get injured. I guess that's why you have the insurance, but the horse, is under their control. You have to make sure that you're comfortable with what kind of training the horse will receive during that time, that the riding that they'll receive is the type of riding that you wish them to have, and the care that they'll receive will be adequate, and the type of care that you would wish them to have, and etc. So just some things to consider. And so again, at the end of the day, my recommendation is if someone asks you to write a contract for a trial, just ask them for a lease instead, and just go ahead and do it that way instead of trying to finagle a contract with a trial term in it. So thanks again for watching my content, and look me up on Facebook and also my website, Elite Equine Exchange. Thank you.